Welcome back to the channel. Today we are saving this 2008 Ford F-250 long bed. Now, customer stated that his front cross member is gone and he needed that replaced, and then his bed was soft. So I was like, yeah, we'll take a look at it. Here we are. And we already pulled the front off, and then we've kind of taken apart some of these. Originally intended to save some of this just because I was going to make it because I thought it was just going to be the first cross member. And then I had enough extra steel there where I could just made one real quick. Would have been fine. Didn't have to buy a whole kit. However, after we pulled this thing off, as you can see, it's fairly far gone. And then after we do the cross members too, we also need to do a bunch of little pieces, kind of throwing the sheets back together, because if you go on the other side, she looks fairly soft in a lot of different spots. You can see where it's coming through now on the back side. So probably just gonna take the torch, punch out a bunch of these little welds, and then just have these fall off, and then we'll clean this whole backside, paint some of it, and then we'll throw the cross members on, and then the whole thing will get fluid filmed with fluid film black, as well as the rest of the truck and the frame that this sits on. It's fairly rusty, so we're just going to kind of chip that away too, and then as I said, fluid film it, so hopefully it doesn't have to deal with this thing for ever. But we'll see how far it gets. You can see the shape of it is not ideal. The whole thing's fairly soft and just not worth saving, especially when a whole crossmember kit's it's sub $300, so it's not bad at all. To take a little break from inside, but figured I'd show you what the actual truck is. And it is a 2008 Ford F-250 that, as you see, done a lot of winter, and definitely hasn't had the best life. But I know he mostly just he doesn't really drive it that much, so I don't know. It's still solid. There's no holes, yet. But even right here, it's still got some paint on it. But not a lot back there. That's very crusty, but very surface. So it does have airbags. It's pretty cool. This is where the front came apart. Same on the other side. He put that block in there, kind of level it out. But that's what inside the rail over there doesn't look too bad. This is just what he wants to save. Being a newish truck anyway, it's only 12 years old. I mean, it's worth it, I guess. Not like it's a 90s truck or anything, but here's up front. All this is like caked on. It feels like sand. It's literally probably road salt from the wintertime. He probably never rinsed it off. I mean, it's definitely a work truck. We'll end up spraying it, fluid film the whole way. Emphasis on the back here, but right here is still good. It's all good. And this was like a really bad spot right here, so it's funny. See that the frame's okay on the side, but the rest of the truck seems to be pretty whooped. Even things like drive shaft. He's got to have an exhaust leak starting. He's got a manifold issue. But what 5.4 hasn't had a manifold issue at one time or another? So this, it's a pretty solid truck all around. It with a little fluid film, hopefully it'll kind of come back, and it'll at least be black, so it'll look clean. Hopefully it'll be enough to save it. So it'll live quite a few more years. Regardless, he's gonna need motor work of some sort, whether it just be a manifold or see what else is wrong. But For this is just, I know you see all the moisture, but then I also have that in there to, can't see it, towel inside, and then just a baggy zip tied so it doesn't fly around. That way it doesn't get all the rain, doesn't just get soaked in there, and it's not a real big deal. But yeah, that's the truck. I think that's gonna do it for this segment. I'm gonna keep videoing so it's all one big long video, but you'll see a lot of different outfits and a lot of different mornings. This is kind of before and after project, or before and after work project rather. So this will probably take a good part of a week, depending on how ambitious I am after work. So anyway, we'll get back to it. Okay, continuing with this truck, we, as you saw, I got most of those panels spot welded in, and then I moved on to the paint because this is probably one of the last, nicest days that we have here in terms of not being freezing before the winter really kicks in. But anyway, this is just fluid film black. So far, I like it a lot better than the regular fluid film. Just because if you ever used it, it's kind of like a tan, creamy color. It kind of doesn't look that good. But, I mean, it works. This is the same stuff, just black. So, I do like this. It kind of blends in and makes it look a lot cleaner. And makes your vehicle, whatever you get sprayed, look a lot nicer. But, this is the back strap. And I don't know if I even did this, but I showed up at the shop the other day. And this truck is literally rusting out in front of my eyes. First, that brake line blew, just from being so rusty, and then next, that gas tank strap broke. And man, it's a good thing he actually decided to have me do this right now, because this truck just sits most of the year, and then he just uses it to plow pretty much. So that would have been cute, first driveway of the winter with this thing, and the brakes blow, gas tank's dragging, but it's pretty thick and greasy feeling when you're actually spraying it, but it, I like to go on thick. I used pretty much a whole gallon, doing kind of what you see there. I sprayed, I got pretty much everything. Now I just got to spray the underside of the bed, but as I said, I used pretty much a whole gallon, and there's, very, very little left. Hopefully enough to do the bottom of the bed, but if not, I'll just grab another gallon. It's only $40 from Napa. I don't know if you can find it cheaper at like a Walmart or something, but $40 for a gallon of this, and it goes a fairly long way. I mean, this is a regular cab long bed, so if you're doing a car, you'd be easily enough. And anyway, there's just this little snippet, and we'll get back to throwing that bed together.
So today we are just looking at a bare bed. We have the cross members all off, and then we have some soft spots here and there, and the owner wants them fixed. So we're gonna cut out all the soft area, everything that we really obviously see that there's a hole. And so we're gonna cut them out flush like this, and we're gonna put a piece of steel on there and weld them in, grind them down, and then replace the cross members. So I've taken my measurements. I've made sure that they reach the top of this divot, not the bottom, to make sure it's flush with the cross member. I made sure it's big enough. It's got this huge hole, so it's gonna be tall. And we'll go from there. We'll cut this, we'll cut the steel, and then we'll start grinding it down. So we have 6, and then we just have to do one more at the top. We have the pieces cut out, ready to be welded on. We just have to weld them. And then that last one on the top, we get a couple patches here and there, and then that'll be done for this section. So we are at the last one, that one top one, and then there's a little bit up there, but we don't have the steel right now, so I'm not gonna cut it. And so we just gotta trim up that top line and make sure that fits, and then we'll be ready to weld it all in.
Finally got back on the bed project for this 08, and honestly kind of got lost in it and didn't record a lot of stuff. Now that brown is not the paint color. It's I found a brown primer, and I thought it would go a little better with the red and easier to layer up. So you didn't need as many coats to completely cover it. Now again, this is a, of course I didn't bring a light out of there. I fluid filmed the underneath, and so it's coated, everything's good. Had a little fire when this thing was leaning up vertically. I had a moving blanket there to protect from the forks, and weld and cheap moving blanket caught fire. So we need to clean that up, repaint it, and then spray pretty much the whole deck. And then after we spray the deck, then we'll put the bolts back in and paint the bolts. That way the bolts aren't painted into the bed, and if they ever moved or shifted at all, you wouldn't have a brown spot under the bolts pretty much. So we're gonna pull the bolts out, and but first we need to move this so I can get the forklift out of the way, and then he'll probably go back in this hole, we'll paint it and clear it, and then it should be good by tomorrow, because we have a good day here where it's over 50 all day, which is pretty rare for this deep into November, so gotta take advantage of that and get it done. Okay, got this all forward, back outside. Here's some of the fluid film. Now this stuff never seems to really dry. I mean, it's still just greasy is all it really feels like. But anyway, you can see a bunch of it right there. It's like 30 degrees out, way too cold for paint, but we need to get this done because it's about to be Thanksgiving in a couple days. It's Tuesday of Thanksgiving week, and just trying to get stuff done for the holidays. But this is pretty much what all the patch looks like after painted. Not ugly. I mean, it is ugly, not pretty, but that's kind of exactly what he wanted. Because I asked him when he mentioned it, I asked him, and I was like, well, you going for beauty here? You want it to look factory, or you just want strong? And he just wanted it strong. So that's what he got, and it'll do the job. But you can see some of here, we painted the sides to match it with the red Rust-Oleum we did, and it just is way too cold, and it never really took. So I don't know, we'll see how it is in the spring. I gotta get a zip tie and throw this back on because his plate for it rusted away. I don't even know if you can see anything I just did, but gotta remount that because the mounts for it all rusted, but everything down here is fluid filmed. I don't know, it turned out pretty good for the most part, you know, for what it is. Going on pretty good. You can still see some of the green from the doorman. Hard to get the insides. I could have gotten the outsides a little better, but here we are. But anyway, it's just a little finishing video. I gotta get out of here for the day and head out for the holidays. So if you're watching this, have a great Thanksgiving. If you made it this far in the video, especially, it's probably a fairly long one. I know we have a lot of film to go through to actually make it. But I hope you have a good holiday, and tune in for the next video. I don't know what's next, but we'll have something coming up for you guys.